Hello friends, welcome back to my channel Anushobbylobby. In this video, I'm sharing the idli batter and the recipes which we're gonna make with this one batter, which is the idli batter. The whole video will be very interesting, though it is most common recipe and everyday recipe maybe in South Indian kitchen, but you'll come to know some unique and new recipes through this video, and also the tips and techniques which I will walk through. So do completely watch this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Let's get into the making of this idli batter recipe. For this, we'll be taking 1 cup of urad dal, 3 cups of idli rice and a handful of poha. Add a teaspoon of fenugreek seeds into the rice and soak at least for 6 to 8 hours. Wash it thoroughly and then soak it. And in winters, this whole process takes a little longer, and in summer maybe takes like about just 4 to 6 hours. Once you soak it, you can see how well it is soaked after like 6 to 8 hours. And for this recipe making, I'm taking a stone grinder. You can very well do it in the normal blender or grinder as well, but the stone grinder is very good for making the idli batters or vada batter or any kind of batter recipes, as it is very naturally, stone grinding process, and the taste will be different from the normal blender as well. So grind one by one as I'm showing here. So we'll be starting with the urad dal. So once you grind the urad dal for about 25 minutes, it will become a fine smooth paste. You can check the consistency and add more water if needed, and then we'll repeat this process. Once you take completely off, then switch it off and take it out into a bowl, and then we'll be adding the rice and poha together at this point of time. For grinding rice and poha, it will take another 20 minutes, so the whole process at least 45 minutes it's gonna take on this ultra stone grinder. So the stone grinders and also the mixie, it will be different. The time and variations of the quantity what you're taking also it differs. So for making this much of batter, I will be using this batter at least for 4 to 5 days. When you keep it in the fridge, it will be very good enough, and you can make n number of recipes with one single batter. So the idli batter should be very smooth. That is one of the key element to have this softer idlis. And also, if rice is a little bit grainy, that is good. That is okay. And also, you can add salt in this before and grind it properly. You can once you add salt, you can divide into two different containers so that it will be not be overflowing. And also how well it is fermented is also one of the key important element for making softer idlis. So if it is not fermented enough, you can keep it in the warm temperatures under oven light. If you're living in somewhere in the colder regions, that will be good to enhance the fermentation process quickly. You can see in this recipe how well this idlis will become and how soft it will become. So the next thing is we'll be taking an idli cooker, add 2 cups of water into it, and turn on the flame on medium to high in between that. And then we'll be taking idli plates, add ghee instead of oil so that it will be very softer when you take it out. So we'll be cooking or steaming this for 15 minutes. As you can see, when you take it off after like 5 minutes, it is very soft, and you can just add a little bit more ghee on top so that it will be very tasty. And even for lunch box, it will be amazing. Your kids gonna love it even if you give them for multiple days on the week. That's how even I prepare for the mornings. It will be very quick, and my daughter loves to eat this soft idlis anytime. So this is kind of a foolproof recipe. I made this batter and recipes like hundreds of times, and you can very well trust on this particular recipe. So the next recipe what I'm going to talk about is this dibbe rotti. This will be like not dosa, but this will be very thick dosa. You'll just take wok kind of thing and add 2 teaspoons of oil in it, and put the flame on medium. Just pour the batter, at least 2 ladles of full of batter, and then leave it for another like 10 to 15 minutes until it is roasted, and flip it on to the other side. So it will be very good to have it just for the chutney for the evening time snack as well. The next recipe is you can very well make the different kind of dosas here as I'm showing here. So dosa is one of the, like, even internationally, worldwide, it is very famous. Many people would like to have, even though they are not Indians. But this recipe is one of the thing, like you can make it with anything, like kharab dosa, or with the gunpowder. You can just sprinkle on top and add some butter. That becomes a butter dosa. If you add egg and some gunpowder, or maybe the garlic powder or pickle, that becomes egg dosa. And many people will make a non-veg variety as well. So I'm sharing a few recipes here very quickly. So this is egg dosa and the normal plain dosa as well. And another interesting recipe, especially for the lunch box for your kids, you're gonna love this recipe. This will be very quick. I'm using here this dash product, which is a waffle maker, and I'm just pouring a ladle of idli batter into this, and I made this waffle. This turned out very crispy within no time. It takes about 4 to 5 minutes. Just spray some butter or oil onto that waffle maker, then that's it will be very tasty, and it turns out great. The next recipe I'm going to talk about is gunta pongalalu. So for this recipe, on the third day or fourth day, the batter taste will be a little bit sour. So if it is sour, you can make this recipe very well, and it tastes amazing. So for this recipe, we're gonna make some modifications to the batter. We'll be adding some onions, chopped ginger, chopped curry leaves, as well as green chilies. Add everything and add a little bit more salt as well into it. And you can take this kind of muffin pan and add a little bit of oil, and you can roast it on, like, shallow fry it on this one for about 10 to 15 minutes. Flip it onto the other side until it is done, and this is ready. The same thing in another variation, what I'm going to show is, instead of adding like onions and everything into the batter, this recipe I have already shared in my channel. So you can check the stuffed paniram recipe on my channel separately, or I'm sharing it over here. So as you can see, into the same gunta ponglalu pan, or paniram pan we just add a little bit of batter, add aloo stuffing there. So this aloo curry, you can make it for making masala dosa or even for samosas. It's the same stuffing I'm using here for making stuffed paniram. So add some curry, cheese, and top it up again with the batter, and roast it on both the sides. You can just have it with the tomato chutney. It is very great recipe for lunchbox, or even for evening time snacks or party time snack as well. The next recipe I'm showing here is, if you have a little bit amount of batter left over, and it turned out sour, kind of really sour. But keep in mind, it should be still edible, not like making with the fungus or something in the batter. We call it as a pongalalu. You may be knowing like adai recipe. So with the same idli batter, I'm making here adai. For this recipe, I'm using one large white onion or red onion, and then add a teaspoon of red chili powder, or as per your taste, salt and jeera as well. Grind it into like a chunky consistency and add it into the batter. So check the taste before adding everything. If it's too spicy for you, do not add everything. Otherwise, you can add everything whatever you grinded and then make it like dosas. So this dosa will be little bit thicker than the usual dosas. So if you want to make it thin, you can. If you want to make it thick, it's up to you. So this will be very soft, and also the if you like a little bit sourness, this is good recipe. And the combination goes very well when you have it with curd, or we call it like yogurt as well. So you can just have it with that. And the last recipe here I'm sharing is punugulu. So this is a street style punugulu recipe, and this is very amazing recipe for evening time snack or party time. And for this recipe, if you have at least half cup of idli batter, that should be good enough for making for 3 to 4 people. So into this, we'll be adding 2 tablespoons of maida or all-purpose flour, a tablespoon of rice flour. Some people add just the yogurt instead of water. So I'm not adding a lot of yogurt here. I'm adding water here because the batter is already a little bit sour. So these recipes are good when you make it on third or fourth day after preparing the batter. The first 2 days you can always concentrate on the just the dosa, idli, those kind of. But very well you can make it even on the very first day. So only additional key ingredient when you make the with the fresh batter is adding curd. So add at least 1/4 cup of sour curd into this and then add other ingredients. So I'm again adding some chopped ginger, chopped chilies, a teaspoon of cumin seeds, and chopped onions as well. Make the batter consistency very right. It shouldn't be very thin or thick. And also at this point, I forgot to add a pinch of baking soda, but it is good to add baking soda here. That's when it will turn out very soft and fluffy when you pour it into the oil for deep frying. So as you can see while I was mixing, a batch is already getting ready. This one was without adding baking soda, but that is even okay if you do not want to add the baking soda. It is also soft inside and crunchy, a little bit crunchy on outside. That's how it should be. So once you deep fry this, you just enjoy with some chutney. So I will be sharing the sambar and chutney recipes as well in upcoming videos. So if you like this recipe, please do like, share, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And please do follow me on Instagram, Anushobbylobby. You can very well watch my decor videos as well, and you can very well join me on Facebook group Indian Kitchen and DIY Decor. Please do tag at Anushobbylobby if you have a question. Thank you very much for watching. I'll be meeting you all in my next video. Until then, take care. Bye bye.